Before I started Hotchkiss Performance, I raced full time, and I raced this car again in Daytona, Sebring. To be a good driver, you must know about the suspension, because you can have a ton of horsepower, you can have the latest aerodynamic tricks, but if your suspension is not right, and it's good to illustrate on this, if you're not managing this whole tire, if the contact patch of the tire is not correct for going straight, for braking, for cornering, then you just can't get all that power to the ground. And that's where we came in with suspension, optimizing the tire contact patch for drag racing, for road racing, for driving on the street. We started with a normal year 2000 Toyota Celica engine. We supercharged it, water-cooled intake manifold. It has Motec, engine management, the dry sump system, and everything you see we fabricated here, engineered here. We designed the roll cage, put the roll cage in, strengthened the chassis really from the front suspension pickup points all the way to the back. I met Chip first at Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, and we were both in transportation design. We had seen Chip on overhauling shows, and we'd talked about this and that and designing different products. And I finally said, "Okay, Chip, come on, what are you doing? What's the latest thing?" He said, "Well, I'm building this hemisphere." The hemisphere was a unique project for us because it was, okay, here's the chassis. This is Chip's vision, and here are all the hard points on the car, pretty much with the mid-engine, the transaxle, everything else. And he said, "Okay, how do you make this so that we can update it and make it so that it can be producible?"
Okay, here's a full 3D model of the frame and the suspension arms that we designed. Chip wants to keep most of the components, or where the suspension points attached to, inside the body, so it makes it difficult to do that because there's a skinny body in the front.
People think about old cars and they say, "Oh, I love my old Chevelle," and so on, but just like this diecast, which is great to see these diecasts with such big wheels and tires and big engines. If you put tires like this on an old car, for one thing, the suspension is not designed for the proper camber curve. So many times you can put new tires on an old car and it's actually detrimental to the handling. So our products actually go in this car. It's an upper A-arm that allows the correct camber curve. So radial tires need camber, and this is what gives that to them. You need to have a proper amount of camber, meaning the tire moved in towards the engine, because when you're going around a corner, this is kind of a cool demo, but when you're going around a corner, you don't want to corner on the outside of the tire. You want going around the corner enough negative camber so that it goes around flat on the tires, using all the tire. And people are using much bigger tires now, much more expensive tires, so you don't want to wear those out and not use all the tire. Oh, I think the Fußlein is great because it really transforms the magic that Chip puts into all of his cars into a diecast, because the stance and everything else are really, really good. So now everybody can own a Fuß car.